Hi everyone, welcome back to the Reclaimed Ranch. My name is Tara. Today we are going to be doing some fix-it things to different items that I have acquired from thrifting. So I found this really cool box at one of the thrift stores and I couldn't pass it up, but the bottom was very loose because it had split. So I'm going to take my Ryobi brad nailer and add a few more nails to it, and that one is good as new. And I just could not pass it up. I'm not sure how old this box is, but it is just gorgeous. And I am contemplating on putting it on my website for sale. So maybe be sure to kind of keep an eye out for that. And so this next one is one of the leather horses that I have gotten, and it had this little tear in the leg. And so I'm sure that's why he was in the Goodwill bins. But I use Starbond's super glue and the accelerator, and this is a thick viscosity. They have different kinds. There's a medium, thick, and I don't know if they have a thin or not, but I like the thick one because then you can control the flow more. So I'm going to add a little bit of the Starbond glue in there, and then I'm going to push it together, take away the excess, and I'm going to use that accelerator, and that stuff sets in like 15 seconds with that accelerator. So I'm just going to hold it in place for 15 to 20 seconds. And then once it's glued, it's glued. This stuff is amazing. I absolutely love this stuff. So you can see that there is a shiny band around there. So in order to take care of that part, I'm going to use some DIY's dark wax and just go ahead and cover that part up and blend it in. There were a couple spots where the leather was kind of rubbing away. So I'm just going to go over all the areas on the horse just to make it more cohesive. And that's basically all you need to do. I mean, don't overlook things. You know, if you love something and it's got a little broken piece here or there, they're always fixable. And I actually love things that have cracks and chips in them. It just tells their story of their ventures throughout their life. And I just love that old look. So again, you know, never just pass it up because it's broken, because you can always find a fix for something. So on this next project, I had this tea set. It was a creamer and sugar set, and the little spout was broken off. And so I used to work in orthodontics for over 20 years, and I used to fabricate orthodontic appliances. So I was well in my wheelhouse here, but I'm honestly telling you, soldering something like this doesn't take much to do. It's very easy. I got this little soldering gun off of Amazon, and this is called flux in this little jar here. That is where you put the flux on the part where you're going to solder, and it helps that solder flow where you want it to go between the joints. So I'm just going to add some flux onto that area there, and I'm going to use my solder and my soldering gun, and I'm just going to tack it into place. It at first looks really bad, but that's okay, because then I'm going to go in with my Dremel, and I'm going to smooth out the joint areas with the solder, and then I'm going to also buff it out to make it smoother. And then I'm going to go in with some of my Rub and Buff antique copper and kind of just cover up the silver solder parts and make it look a little bit more worn and aged. So here's where we're going to go ahead and solder. Obviously be careful because the soldering gun is super hot. So I'm just going to go ahead and tack it into place, and then once we get it tacked, then I can go ahead and not have to hold it. So I probably could have put some painter's tape on it to hold it down. Would have helped a little bit, but what we did worked just fine. So And the final project is a copper horse that my friend Connie found for me. She found this large one and then another small one at a thrift store when we were in Nashville. And I was jumping for joy. I love this horse. I absolutely love it. However, it had a crack in it, and when I was trying to push the leg back together, the whole thing came off. So, so I'm going to go ahead and just use my Star Bond to place this back on. This is going to be for my own decor, so I'm not planning on selling it. And so I'm going to go ahead and just use my super glue to put it back on, and it works really well. I haven't had any problems with it. So again, I'm going to place it into position, and I'm going to use that accelerator to go ahead and get that hold done as quick as possible. And then once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and add just a tiny bit more around the edges there and spray the accelerator one more time. And then we're going to go back in with that Rub and Buff, which is a perfect match for this color, that antique copper. And I'm going to add just a little bit to that. And this guy is sitting on top of my refrigerator. So I am super ecstatic how he turned out. You'll have to let me know what your guys' favorite project was. It's between this horse and that first box. Both are very, very unique and amazing finds at the thrift store. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you back next Monday for another Thrifted Treasure Flip. Bye.